The fair skepticism around AI-assisted work. There is a fair concern today around AI-assisted work. Some people use AI only for validation. Some use it to generate confident-sounding language without deep thinking. Some use it to dress up weak ideas with better wording. So I understand why people are skeptical. But I think the real question is not simply, was AI involved? The better question is, was there a real thinking, real structure, real accountability, and real exposure to the market? Because AI involvement alone does not determine whether the work is shallow or serious. The standard should be higher than that. Pointing out problems is not building solutions. A lot of content today stops at pointing out problems. Someone says, this is broken, this industry has a problem, this customer experience is bad, this company should improve. That may be true, but pointing at a problem is not the same as building a solution. Delivering bad news is easy. Designing a measurable operating system is harder. Abstract advice is not proof of a working system. Another type of content goes one step further. It claims to offer solutions, but often the solution stays abstract. It talks about strategy, transformation, customer obsession, engagement, innovation, ecosystem, or loyalty. But without a clear architecture, without measurement logic, without governance, without trade-offs, and without proof that the system actually exists as a body of work. Hidden frameworks create limited public proof. Then there is another version. Some people claim they have the answer, but the real framework is completely hidden behind a paid course, paid consultation, or private access. That is their choice. But from the audience's perspective, the public proof is still limited. The audience cannot see the general architecture. They cannot inspect the logic. They cannot understand how the system works. They cannot judge whether the solution is real or just another polished promise. The path I chose, visible architecture, protected depth. The path I chose is different. I use AI as part of the creation process, yes, but the work is not hidden inside a private chat. It is not only a motivational opinion. It is not only a complaint about what is broken. It is not only a fake promise that I know the answer. The work is being shaped into a visible body of work. At least at the architecture level, I am willing to show the structure publicly. Not every proprietary detail needs to be exposed. The deeper logic, internal calculations, and client-specific implementation details still need protection. But the public should be able to see that the framework exists. They should be able to see the sequence. They should be able to see the reasoning. They should be able to see the governance logic. They should be able to see that this is not just talk. That matters. In a changing market, nobody has a perfect universal answer. Because in a changing market, nobody has an absolute answer. Customer behavior changes, technology changes, competition changes, costs change, supply chains change, regulation changes. So the honest path is not pretending to have a perfect universal answer. The honest path is to build a disciplined solution, expose enough of the architecture for scrutiny, test it against real cases, receive feedback, and improve. how I actually use AI. That is how I see AI in my work. AI is not the source of authority. AI does not replace experience. AI does not replace operational judgment. AI does not replace market feedback. AI does not replace accountability. AI helps me pressure test the work. It helps me ask, where is the logic weak? Where is the explanation unclear? Where could this be misunderstood? Where could a client push back? Where am I overclaiming? Where does the structure need to be tighter? But after that, the work still has to face reality. Can people understand it? Can professionals challenge it? Can it explain real product behavior? Can it support better decisions? Can it survive objections? Can it create value beyond good-looking language? That is the real validation, not AI praise, reality. Accountability begins outside the chat window. So I do not see AI-assisted work as automatically less valuable. The value depends on the user's standard. If someone uses AI to avoid thinking, the output will be weak. If someone uses AI to decorate shallow ideas, the output will still be shallow. If someone uses AI only to seek validation, the process becomes self-deception. But if someone uses AI to stress test real experience, organize hard-earned knowledge, challenge weak logic, improve clarity, and prepare the work for public scrutiny, then AI becomes part of the discipline, not a shortcut, a tool. The difference is accountability. The real loop is experience to idea, to AI stress test, to revision, to public architecture, to real feedback, to improvement, to market validation. That is the path I am taking. Not because I believe AI makes the work automatically correct, but because I believe serious work should be tested from multiple angles before it asks for trust. And in the end, the market does not care whether AI praises the work. The market cares whether the work is useful. The framework still has to stand. The reasoning still has to hold. The architecture still has to make sense. The value still has to be proven in reality. That is the standard. AI can help sharpen the work, but reality decides whether the work matters. So, when I say this work is AI assisted, I am not saying AI created the authority. I am saying I use AI as one tool to stress test, structure, and refine a body of work built from real operational experience. The work is not hiding behind abstraction. It is not hiding behind a paywall with no visible architecture. It is not just pointing at problems. It is being built, shown, challenged, and improved. That is the difference. AI assisted does not mean accountability free. For me, the accountability begins when the work leaves the chat window and faces the real world.